This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Agun Erev Shabbos, Rabbi Say. What is a Stradivarius? The Stradivarius is an instrument made by an Italian, Antonio Stradivari, who was born in Italy in 1644 and died in 1737. Stradivari was a luthier, which means he was a maker of stringed instruments, such as violin, cello, guitar. During his lifetime, he crafted more than 1,100 instruments, and of those, we still have today 540 violins, 50 cellos, and 12 violas. A Stradivarius produces magical tones unequaled by other instruments. Many luthiers have attempted to reproduce the exact sound, but none have succeeded. Over the years, many historians and researchers have come up with various theories as to why the Stradivarius produces such exceptional sound. Some claim it was the wood Stradivari used. Others say it was the varnish, and still others believe it was the waters of Cremona, the city that Stradivari lived. One of the world-renowned violinists today is Joshua Bell, who plays the Stradivarius. And about 80 years ago, the Washington Post arranged an intriguing little experiment to see how people react to unexpected, out-of-context art. So they commissioned Joshua Bell to stand in Washington, D.C. at a subway station and play classical music. Ordinarily, when Bell gives a recital, he earns about $1,000 a minute. Bell played for 45 minutes, during which time more than 1,000 people passed by. But in those 45 minutes that he played, only 27 out of the 1,075 passerbys, only 27 of them threw a donation into his violin case, netting him a grand total of $32. Now this experiment created a tremendous sensation. Scores of articles were written about the experiment. Can people not recognize the quality of fine art on their own? Why would people shell out upward of $1,000 a ticket to hear Joshua Bell play, but not stop and listen to the music when it was free? Does cost add to value? Does charging more money add to value? Is it all part of our herd mentality? But I believe that we see a very important facet of human nature from this experiment. And that is, no matter how inspiring, how breathtaking, how powerful an experience may be, no matter how magnificent, it is very difficult for a human being to derive any benefit from it, to be moved by it, to appreciate it without preparation. The benefits that are reaped from any meaningful experience in life is usually commensurate with the preparation that was put into getting ready for that experience. Otherwise, the most majestic and meaningful opportunities are completely lost. Even the music of the greatest musician is lost on those who listen to it unprepared. And if this is true in the physical world, then this is even more true in the spiritual world. We all know how difficult it is to have kavanah by davening. We all would admit that we would like davening to be a more meaningful and significant experience for us. Our tefillah leaves what to be desired, and one of the important reasons why is we sort of fall into it. Maybe not being timely, but even if we are timely, when that zman for tefillah comes, we sort of just begin without the proper preparation. But if someone would come a minute early, a moment early, with the mental attitude of preparation for what one is about to do, it will transform the entire character of the tefillah. And the truth is, if a person would reflect momentarily before any mitzvah and just mentally prepare for what one is about to do, I'm about to be mekayim the mitzvah talis of tefillin, it would be completely different mitzvah. The Mesilas Yesharim tells us in Parak Yud Zayin, in the Darchei Kniyas HaTahara, Mesilas Yesharim advises us, Lo yikanes b'kiyam ha-mitzvah b'pesa pisayim. Do not enter a mitzvah suddenly. She'in daito yadayin miyushavas alav. where your mind has not settled yet, with the opportunity to think about what you're doing. If a person just falls into a mitzvah and quickly puts on talis, tefillin, and chapsa davening, it is not possible for the human mind to absorb what they're doing. It says Mesilas Yesharim, Ela yazmin atzmai ladavar. One should prepare themselves. V'yachan libay b'masan, and prepare one's heart with patience. Ad until one is able to reflect. V'az yisboinen mahu hoylech lasais, with the opportunity to think what you're doing. V'lefnei mihu hoylech lasais, and before whom you're doing it. The Yerushalmi, Masechta Kedushin, Parak Aleph, the Yerushalmi makes an astounding statement. The Yerushalmi says, what is considered the easiest mitzvah? The mitzvah that on the totem pole is the smallest of all the mitzvahs, says the Yerushalmi, Kala shebekalois zu shiluach hakein. The mitzvah that is smallest of all the 613 is sending the mother away and then taking the eggs. That's considered the most kal of all the mitzvahs. Why is this mitzvah the easiest? Why would this mitzvah be the least significant? Today, nowadays, people would pay a lot of money for the opportunity to be Mekayim Shiluach HaKein. I just saw in the Chinese auction booklet, one of the grand prizes that they're giving out is the opportunity to fulfill Shiluach HaKein with your very own photographer. Why would Shiluach HaKein be the easiest of all the mitzvahs? Says the Ger Rebbe, Shiluach HaKein is the one mitzvah you can't prepare for. It's ki yikare. If you chance upon it, you can't set up the situation. It's only if you happen to see it. And in life, and certainly by mitzvahs, the main benefit one gets is only with preparation. And therefore, of all the mitzvahs in the Torah, the mitzvah which is the lightest, the most kal, is the one mitzvah you can't prepare for. Torah tells us in this week's Parsha about the mitzvah, the Daled Minim. The Torah says, "Ulakachtem lachem hayom harishon." Should take on the first day, obviously referring to the first day of Sukkot. But the Medrash is bothered. Everywhere in the Torah, when it talks about the Yom Tov, it gives you the date of the month. It says the first day of Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, the 10th day of Tishrei, Yom Kippur, the 15th of Nisan is Pesach. Why would it say about Sukkot the first day? It's not the first day, it's the 15th day, says the Medrash. You know what it means by Yom HaRishon? Rishon lecheshvain ha'avonos. It's the first opportunity to sin. Sukkot, the first day of Sukkot is the first opportunity to sin. You see, Erev Rosh Hashanah, the Medrash says, the Gedolei Hadar are fasting, people are doing tshuva. Then you have Rosh Hashanah, who's going to sin on Rosh Hashanah? Then you have Aseres Yimei Tshuva, people are busy. Kapara is Shabbos Shuvah Drasha. Yom Kippur, we're like Malachim. After Yom Kippur, everyone's running to get their lulav and esrog to put up the sukkah during the 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot. People are busy in the preparations for the Yom Tov, and finally you get home the first night of Sukkot. The first day of Sukkot, you sit back. Menuchas hanefesh. Now I could kick back and sin. Abissal lashon hara, abissal rechilos, abissal sheker, abissal einos dvarim. Rishon l'cheshvan avonos. It's the first opportunity to sin. Frek the Taz. Ask the Taz. Rabbeinu David. The Taz, Rabbeinu David. Yeshua says about the Taz, he's the greatest of all the Achronim. One time, in the 17th century, the Taz's city was surrounded by pogroms, Chmielnicki, and the Taz is leading the tzibur in prayer. He's a shliach tzibur, and he faints, and he has a dream. And the Rebbe Shalom shows him in a dream the pasuk, "V'ganoisi al ha'ir ba'avur David Avdi." I will protect the city in the merit of my servant David, referring to the Taz. Frek the Taz, there's something very suspicious over here. If Jews are not going to sin during the 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, because they're preparing for the mitzvah of Daled Minim and Sukkah, if preparation for the mitzvah is going to protect Klal Yisrael from sinning, then alachas kama v'kama, all the more so, the actual performance of the mitzvah over Sukkot will prevent a Jew from sinning. Why would the first day of Sukkot be Rishon l'cheshbon avonos? If you're not going to sin before Sukkot, and Kal v'chomer, you're not going to sin on Sukkot. Ask the Taz, Kasha, Lama be'emes yeh adif ha'achana laha mitzvah shel sukkah. Why would the preparations of the mitzvah of sukkah be greater min hayoim atzmai shemekayim min ha-mitzvah than the day itself? Comes along the Sfas Emes, Parsha Hazinu, Shana Tafresh Lamed Daled, page 176, says the Sfas Emes, Avalein hadavar rachik. It is not far-fetched. It is quite reasonable. Sheyoyser kayach v'hatzala yesh b'hachanas ha-mitzvah. Preparing for a mitzvah is more powerful, more potent, more of a salvation from sin, miguv kiyam ha-mitzvah, than the mitzvah itself. And therefore, just because preparing for a mitzvah may prevent the Jew from sinning, that doesn't necessarily indicate that the actual performance of the mitzvah could prevent the Jew from sinning. Preparation is the maximum benefit. That's the best way to benefit from a mitzvah. There's a famous comment that Rav Soloveitchik once made in one of his tshuva drashas, an observation he had, that he used to say, in America, Baruch Hashem, we have what is known as the phenomenon of Shomerei Shabbos. We have Sabbath observant Jews. But says Rav Soloveitchik, it is not for the Sabbath that my heart aches. It is for the forgotten Erev Shabbos. Yes, there are many Shomerei Shabbos in America, but there are no Erev Shabbos Jews who go out to greet the Shabbos with beating hearts and pulsating souls. What do we do on Erev Shabbos? We're running even as the days are getting longer, but we just stuff more into our day, and inevitably we're scrambling until the last moment. So yes, we make it to shul. We observe the Shabbos, but we're lacking in the preparation. We're lacking in the anticipation and the yearning and the waiting and the greeting of the Shabbos. And the maximum benefit that will be derived from Shabbos is in preparing for Shabbos. Another example. On the day that Moshe constructed the Mishkan, the pasuk says Vayehi. Says the Medrash, Vayehi is a lashon tsar. What's the tsar? Says the Medrash. Give you an example. The Medrash says it's like a husband who doesn't get along with his wife, so he gives her tasks to do to keep her occupied, so they don't fight. But as soon as she's done with it, the husband says, "Oy vey, what am I going to do now?" So too, says the Medrash, Hashem saw what Klal Yisrael did with the Egel. He was angry at us, so He gave us something to be busy with, the making of the Mishkan. But now that the Mishkan was over, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, "Oy vay vayehi." Frek the Shem Yishmoel. Wait a second. If preparing for the Mishkan is going to protect us from sin, all the more so the actual service of the Mishkan. If the Hachana is powerful enough, won't the performance of the mitzvahs in the Mishkan protect us? Says the Shem Yishmoel, no. Preparing for something has more of an impact, has more of an influence, has more of a protection than the mitzvah itself. Just like we say when it comes to Sukkot, the first day of Sukkot is Rishon Cheshvan Avonos, because what the preparation could do to a Yid, the performance of a mitzvah won't necessarily do. And therefore, when we think, what is the most momentous occasion, the most monumental event in the history of the Jewish people? It was certainly the giving of the Torah, Maimon Har Sinai, the most important event in the history of the world. And therefore, the Yom Tov of Shavuos, which commemorates the giving of the Torah, is one of our greatest opportunities that we have the entire year to connect with the Rebbeinu Shalom. This then should give us a completely new appreciation for the importance of Sefiras HaOmer. Because the more you put into something, the more you reap. You know why the Kedusha of Shabbos lasts until Tuesday? You know why you could continue to make Havdalah until the end of Tuesday? Because we prepare for Shabbos from the beginning on Wednesday. Wednesday already in the Shir Shal Yom, we say L'chuna Ranenon in the Shir Shal Yom of Yom Revi. You put 3 days into Shabbos, you could reap 3 days out of Shabbos. And if you want to maximize the benefit that you will reap from the Yom Tov of Shavuos, well, we know to prepare for a Sukkot, you need 4 days. We know to prepare for a Pesach, Shloshim Yom Kodem HaChag, 30 days. But 4 days and 30 days is not enough for Shavuos. Because Shavuos, we're trying to maximize the experience of our rendezvous with the Rebbeinu Shalom at Har Sinai. And therefore 4 days is not enough, 30 days is not enough. We need almost 2 months 7 weeks. Sheva Shabbosos Tamimos. Here we are, we're already 2 weeks before the Yom Tov of Shavuos. It's our last opportunity to try to prepare and enhance our connection to Torah. Perhaps add more learning to our schedule. Perhaps to try to take advantage more of our learning opportunities. Maybe to take notes. Maybe to think about it during the day. Maybe to take it more serious. The Rebbe Shem has already set up the system of the 49 days of preparation. But it is our responsibility to take advantage of these days in order to maximize the spiritual benefit, in order to maximize the spiritual energy that a Yid is able to reap, and we will be able to reap in Mirz Hashem.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.